Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the greatest live show of all time. That is right, everybody. This is the third installment of the. I guess this is like the same stream, but it's just like a restarting stream for algorithmic reasons type of thing. So, yeah, that's right. First, hell yeah! Oh God, why is the first person? Why did the person named Dysphoria have to be first? Well, hello, Dysphoria. And welcome back to the show. Very, very good to have you here, despite your, the precarious nature of your name. Hello, Blaze Ty, saying like the stream nerds. Yo, Blaze Ty spitting facts. You should absolutely double tap your screen to smash like. It boosts me in the algorithm. Or just like click it normally if you're on PC, I think, right? Hello, Classic for Real. Good to see you again. Saying the Fembro livestream you were just on got taken down by a WMG claim already. Yeah, sounds about right. Hello, some ROC gamer kid. Hello, Batal Crafter. Saying hi again, bottom. Shut up. It's a stream. It is a stream. I don't know why it's not giving me analytics. Okay, maybe I refresh? I don't know, dude. Come on. Nope. No analytics. That's awesome. Thanks, YouTube. Very, very helpful. Great stuff today. Viewer nope. Okay. Wasn't that wonderful? I love it when, YouTube is broken. It's my favorite. So anyways, hello, Missouri Railroad Productions, saying round 3. Hell yeah, you're still streaming? Yes. Welcome back, Dusky Moth. Good to see you here. Hey, Femyoz. Hello, Tia Kalencher. Good to have you here. Hello, Ashton. Hello, Dark Reaper. Hello, O'Doyle, saying, Yo, Femyoz, my Nana left her teeth at your place again. This needs to stop. I can't be running back and forth. I don't even understand why she even takes them out at your place. Can you please explain? Yeah, so I have her take them out whenever she sucks me off. Yeah, anyways, hello, Anon420 Cereal, saying I'm femmying it. Well, I have no idea what that means, but, congratulations or my condolences, depending on the context, or what that means. Hello, Pike Ponytail, saying, Femi, happy midnight for you. Well, it's 2 a.m. for me, so, it's past midnight, but happy midnight regardless. Loki watching a lot more than I have. Yeah, to be fair, I've been streaming a lot more now because, I've been inactive lately. Mommy, I mean mom. Yeah, okay, Kimmy. Alright, you just got caught in 4K. Well, 1080p, but still. Basically 4K. Yeah. Not that you were trying to avoid that by any means. Anyways. Femi, Christy Noem is the governor of South Dakota and director of ICE. Okay, yeah, I hate that person as well. She's also a monster that shot her 14th-month-old puppy. Oh my. Yeah, that sounds about right. Who would have guessed that the, subhuman gold pieces of shit do subhuman gold piece of shit things? Shocking, truly. More like 720p. Well, that's a skill issue on your end. The stream is 1080. YouTube having technical problems? Yeah. Yeah, YouTube does that. Double tap the smash like to counteract it or something. But yeah. Good morning, Dysphoria. Oh my god, you guys are still on that. Out of all the things that you could say, alright, I defended you guys. In front of Fembro, saying, oh, it's just like a meme. But, I don't know, you guys have taken it too far, alright? The diaper allegations have gone too far, alright? What's Dysphoria? It's basically, for whatever reason, people want me to wear diapers. And that they accuse me of doing so. I don't know why. Anyways. I genuinely think this bot won't ever die. I hope it does. Which one? Looks pretty 1080p to me. Yeah, my stream is I mean, it should be 1080p. I'd be very sad if it wasn't. Okay, but to be fair, shooting puppies kind of... No, that's not base. That's like one of the worst things you could do. I assume you're joking though, to be fair. Does Scientology allow you to wear diapers? I have no idea. Oh, does it? Yeah, I have no clue. Oh, you're saying you hope that this bit won't ever die. Okay. Well, I hope it, you know what? I hope it does out of spite. What is a woman feeling inside? Yeah, somebody that identifies within the feminine social archetype. Anyways, to stop the diaper jokes, you have to burn a box of diapers as a ritual sacrifice. No, then people would actually, like, people would unironically think that I do. Because then I'd be trying too hard to disprove them. You know? And nobody puts that much effort into, you know, disproving something that has no basis that's false, right? Okay, I'm being genuine here. What the fuck does based mean? It's like saying something is real, or that's like, it's like a positive affirmation. I'm not the best at defining words, but you just sort of get a vibe for it, okay? It usually has to do with like, you know, something being good, but like more in the context of like a position or a take or like some sort of behavior, kinda. I guess, I don't know, it's kind of broad. You know, the word based actually used to mean something, you know. It kind of doesn't. Kind of has been watered down. But I'm okay with that. I'm part of the reason why it's watered down, you know? I'm not going to pretend not to be. Example, diaper use is based. No, that's not a good example. That's like the worst example. Feminine social archetype? That's left-wing gibberish. No, just because you don't understand it doesn't make it gibberish, right? That's like not an argument. Can you explain why it's gibberish or why it doesn't make sense? Like, what's wrong with that definition? Like, you would agree that there's like, there's going to be social archetypes in society, right? It seems to be the case that gender, you know, primarily consists of social archetypes that are derived from our view on sex, but it's not sex in of itself, right? To conflate the two would just be logically fallacious, right? To claim that the socially ascribed view on something is the same thing as the thing itself, right? Or that a social category is the same as whatever the social category was originally derived from, right? And those aren't really the same. Like, for instance, if it was the case that, like, I don't know, we constructed different social categories on the basis of other biological traits, right? So if it's the case that, like, I don't know, we live in a society where we delegate, you know, accounting to people with blonde hair, and, you know, engineering to people with brown hair, etc., right? And we do different stuff based on characteristics, with like some arbitrarily selected biological characteristics, right? If I were to say, well, that's dumb, like these are just like, this is like a social construct, right? It would not be logical for you to be like, well, no, they're the same thing. They're not the same thing. You just made a logically fallacious argument. They're very different things, right? And furthermore, I would even add on to that and say, like, you know, if someone with blonde hair wants to be an accountant on that basis, I mean, good for them. But I think that they should have the option to be an engineer, despite not having brown hair, right? Again, that's like a very, very oversimplified way of explaining it, but I think it illustrates my point well. Like, just because something is derived from a biological characteristic doesn't make it the biological characteristic itself. So rather than talking about the biological characteristic, which nobody is disputing, nobody is arguing that trans women are biological females. If we were, then what would we be transitioning to and from? Female to female? Doesn't even make any fucking sense. No, nobody is arguing that. So maybe actually engage. It's a collection of biological traits, moron. Yeah, I could say the same thing about, in this hypothetical scenario, being an engineer is a collection of biological traits, that being brown hair, brown eyes, and tan skin, right? If that's what you look like, you're an engineer, all right? That's what you ought to be raised to be. Okay, that's your social status, right? And if you reject the social status, then you must also be rejecting the biological characteristic, right? Except no, that's fucking stupid. That's a dumb argument. So unless you can establish some sort of symmetry breaker, which you can't, I guess my argument's just gonna have to stand. My bro, Mudahar, is a biological engineer. That's true. That's true. Mudahar is a biological engineer. You've got a good point. Femi, how do you feel about the fact that I'm a couple months? If the diaper yos meme spreads, that's what you could be known for? I really hope not. Can children consent to puberty blockers? With the guidance of a doctor and a parent, yeah. Like any other medical decision. Yeah, absolutely. Not to mention the fact that they're reversible. You can just go off of them and go through normal puberty, so they're not risky at all. Right? We do way riskier shit when it comes to medical patients, including ones that are children. I know, crazy. Stuff that has way more potentially bad, irreversible side effects than puberty blockers. But because, puberty blockers are part of a wider culture war talking point, that's the one that we have to moral fag about, apparently. When nobody cares when it's anything else. Yes, I'm biologically a YouTuber. You can tell because, it's inscribed in my DNA. All right, I actually have the YouTuber gene. It's not risky because you can stop taking it. That's insane. No, I'm saying that that's one of the things. I'm saying it's not risky, and also you can stop taking it. It's not risky because you can stop taking it. That's not how a sentence works. I didn't include the word because. Okay? Like, no, it's not risky, and you just stop taking them. And just go through normal puberty. Right? Puberty blockers are child abuse, full stop? No, forcing somebody to go through the wrong puberty is child abuse. Forcing somebody to have dysphoria when it's easily preventable is child abuse. That's child abuse, right? The same way that forcefully transitioning a cis kid into being trans is abuse, forcing a trans kid to be cis is also abuse. Those are equivalent in a moral sense. There is no difference. Transgenderism isn't actually a natural. It happens in nature with some animals. Yeah, well, I'm not even interested in whether or not it's natural, right? I won't even grant... I won't even pretend like appealing to nature isn't a fallacy. Anyways. That was verbatim what you said? No, you just, made that up. Bro, Mudahar, and Jarl Jobst are biologically not guilty of slandering the completionist and can't be biologically sued Billy Mitchell style. That's very true. Very true. Your trans men's melt in that mind? Well, what do you mean by that? Do hormones affect the brain? A little bit. Yeah, your brain, I guess, interacts with, the other chemical reactions that occur within your body, right? But that's no different from, I don't know, if my body were to naturally produce estrogen and testosterone, right? My brain would still interact with estrogen the same way that it currently does. There's no reason it wouldn't, right? It's the same brain, right? So I don't really think it matters whether or not you're injecting the hormones in that case, right? It's gonna have the same effect. You're spitting fire, damn. Yeah, I have a tendency to just say things that are correct. I love everyone. You are mentally ill, but that can be helped. Oh, wow. Oh, don't worry, guys. Chat, he can fix me. It's like, what are you basing this off of? All right, if you were to follow it up by saying that I'm mentally ill because I'm a YouTuber, I would actually agree with that. All right, that's how you should be able to tell. But I'm guessing you said it because I'm trans. That's what most people do. Makes sense if Pyrocynical has the YouTuber gene, then you look close enough to her for you to have it. Yeah, absolutely. That's actually how I knew. You're so pretty. Oh, my days. Well, thank you. Thank you, Hearts for Gully. Appreciate it. Anyways. Your meds have made you retarded? No, I don't think it has any impact on intelligence, to be completely honest. Like, if you want to make the argument that I'm actually retarded, that's not what I would point to. Now, there are plenty of other things that you could point to, right? But it wouldn't be something that's like a new thing, though. Where is the billionaire gene? I don't know. You just have to be like a specific type of inbred, I guess. I don't know, dude. You're not being chill. You're being rude and dismissive. Like, don't lie in your stream name. Oh, dude. Yeah, chill trans girl stream. That means that I'm not allowed to make fun of somebody that makes a retarded argument, or prove them wrong, or logically deconstruct what they're saying, heaven forbid, and explain why that's not logically coherent. Oh my god. How horrible. Like, do you think that, like, being chill means that you're not allowed to say anything in response to people? Well, that doesn't make any sense. I don't think that's what that word means. Like, you can be chill while disagreeing. Hell, you can be chill while making fun of somebody. Like, what? You're literally doing it right now. What, making fun of the dumb thing you said? Yeah, I am. Doesn't make the stream less chill, it just means, yeah, you said some dumb shit and now I get to make fun of you. Yes, apparently not listening to hateful retards is very dismissive. Dude, how dare you dismiss the very real concerns these people have when they say 41%? Yes. Very, very, very important stuff. How could you afford surgery? I need some tips. I have some bad news for you. I have not gotten any surgery. I've been on hormones for 2 years, though. But yeah, I'm not gonna be able to give financial advice. Do you watch South Park? No, I did a while ago. I might start watching it again, because apparently, conservatives are getting really mad at the new stuff. So, chill trans girl stream. Viewers not being chill, wrecking them with facts and logic. After debate, go back to being chill. Yeah, pretty much. But I feel like even when I'm like, I don't know, like, proving somebody to be factually incorrect or logically inconsistent, I feel like you can do that while being chill. I feel like that's what I'm doing. Like, I'm pretty tame right now. You know what I mean? Like, why? Yes, you're not allowed to spit facts. Like, why not levy that criticism when I'm, like, super loud? You know, when I'm, like, super loud and saying a bunch of schizo shit about how I'm doing fentanyl because I'm George Floyd maxing. You know, that's the stream to levy that criticism of clickbait. All right? Because there are some streams where I don't have chill, and this is the title. I started watching South Park again for the first time in a while. Yeah, I'm gonna be real. The best publicity that you could possibly give any show is to say that, like, yeah, this is like a comedy-based show that made conservatives angry. Right? Usually when it's the other way around, it used to be funny, but then it's like, now it's just like, I don't know, like, purely just political slop. That doesn't make a good argument, nor is it funny, right? Usually when it's like something right wing, it's like the same like 5 jokes. So I lost interest in that type of comedy because like it stopped being comedy because it's just like repeating the same shit. And it's like, I don't know, it's just like there used to be a lot more funny right-wingers, you know. It actually used to be the people on the left that were like super sensitive or whatever. You know, that's how, at least that's what it felt like to me in 2016. But like now it's like, I feel like it's the opposite now. I feel like over the past decade, it's just shifted. You know? Anyways, not gonna lie, your voice is similar to mine, and I have bad voice dysphoria about it. Oh, sorry, I have bad voice dysphoria, and I always think it sounds bad, but I guess hearing it from someone else makes me think that it's not as bad as I think, so thanks. Yeah, fair enough. You are so damn beautiful, I'm straight. And even I'll clap you or get clapped, you know, fair enough. Appreciate the honesty. Don't know if you want to be that upfront about it, but, you know, A for effort. Trump ruined his diaper? Which one? He's been wearing diapers for ages. He's ruined a lot of those. I love South Park, but it's hard to keep track of where to watch it. You have to pay for like 7 different services to keep track of shows. Yeah, not like I would ever pirate. You know, that would be bad. You know, pirating is bad. Don't do that. That, you know, you're not allowed to do that. Dumbass lib eat shit. Well, the worst insult there is you calling me a lib. Buddy, I'm a leftist. I'm not a lib. I'm in favor of things like market socialism. A lib implies that my political beliefs are, you know, always moderate. Yeah, they're not. I don't think that most people are in favor of socialism. I think that's like, you know, kind of on the, you know, sort of might be to the left of the Overton window. You know, what's considered like an acceptable position by most of society. Unfortunately well, I guess fortunately for me, I don't care whether or not society deems like a position to be like socially acceptable, because that doesn't really determine the correctness of the arguments. So yeah, you're a lib? No, there's a difference. Anyways, give Femyoz some money, whore. I agree. That is absolutely what you should do. What mascara do you use? It's so good. I forgot the name of it. I'd have to go look. I don't. Sup? Life become easier or harder as a girl? In what way? Like, in terms of, like, my mental health, it's a lot better, but that's just because, like, you know, me, wanting to be a woman and not a guy is, like, sort of the whole reason for transitioning is, you know, is dysphoria. It's not always going to be the case for all trans people are different. That's the case for me, is I just have dysphoria. That's sort of what caused me to transition, but, I'd say like materially, like in a material sense, I'd say that probably makes things harder. Probably makes things more difficult in every other aspect, you know? But I don't think that's on the basis of being a woman. I think that's on the basis of being trans. So it's hard to say because of how those two groups sort of intersect, right? So it could be the case that being a woman is harder than being a man on average. It could also be the case that, you know, being trans is more difficult than being not trans, which it is, right? In fact, it's definitely the case that being trans makes my life harder, right? I transitioned in spite of this fact, right? But I don't know. I don't know how much easier or harder being a woman or a man is. I guess it depends on like what you deem to be difficult in general and what type of stuff you want in life, and, you know, I don't know, just like what your life goals are as well. Like if your goal is to become a house husband / wife, probably a lot easier to do that as a woman, right? So in that case, being a woman is easier, right? If your goal is to become like a professional athlete, or well, no, because there's women's. But if your goal is to, I was gonna say set a world record, but I don't know. Look, if your goal is to, I don't know, like be a CEO of a company or like an engineer, some shit like that, right? Something that's like considered more masculine, right? Due to people taking it less seriously, it's gonna be more difficult as a woman, right? So it really depends on what it is. Or like, say for instance, walking alone at night or walking outside at night, like you don't want to do that alone, right? You don't want to, like, there's going to be things like that make your life a lot harder as like a woman, right? So it's kind of a trade-off depending on what you're looking for. I hope that that explanation makes sense. I don't think that being a man or a woman is intrinsically easier or harder, right? In of itself. I think it just depends on who you are. Now maybe for me, I don't know if it's become, I mean, in some ways it's become easier, in some ways it's become harder. Physical therapist, I have no idea. So you like men, no hate? I like men and women. The amount of transphobes in chat right now is crazy. Yeah, but they be boosting me in the algorithm, so can't complain too hard, right? Double tap the smash like to boost me even more in the algorithm. I'm just saying. You know, the transphobes hate to see it. You look like you'd be my favorite character in a beloved 2000s cartoon. That's a very weird, oddly specific, but also very wholesome compliment. I really like that. That's actually very wholesome. Anyways. What if you change your mind when you're older? Yeah, what if things were different, chat? Yeah, have you ever considered, like, what? Yeah, I know that, like, you're, like, happy with the fact that you're transitioning and, like, you know, this is something that you've wanted forever, but, like, what if things were different? You know? What if it wasn't like that? Yeah, what if? You know, great stuff. Glad to see you're, you know, engaging at full brain capacity. I really like your hair. I think the color suits you beautifully. Well, thank you. It's my natural hair. Anyways. Fuck them, you were awesome. You were passing fantastic. Do your thing, queen. Hell yeah. I don't know if I'm passing or not, but like, I don't really think that's the point of this stream. I mean, it doesn't say chill passing trans girl stream. It just says trans girl stream. So, you know, I mean, my target audience is like other trans people, especially, right? Because I feel like they're gonna relate to me more, and vice versa. Support to you, my friend. You're the most chill streamer I've seen on YouTube. You should be proud. Hell yeah. Let's fucking go. Good to have you here. Girl bossing it so hard right now. You need to read a list of logical fallacies so you can learn how to make an argument that isn't foilable. Yeah, no, argumentation is a lot more complex than that. It's a lot easier to just like have like an understanding of like when there are logical contradictions in somebody else's argument and to like, you know, not make those. Right? Rather than listing off every single fallacy, you know? Yeah, sure, I could make like a whole separate argument for why like, yeah, an appeal to nature is just illogical. But that argument's already been made by people infinitely smarter than me, right? So that's why I would say, yeah, this is like a fallacy. Right? Yeah, that's why most people in a debate would be like, yeah, this is just like an appeal to nature fallacy, right? Because otherwise you have to get into like a different, like, you know, discussion about something where it's like, yeah, that you're obviously wrong about this. It's like everybody that knows anything about philosophy or logic agrees that you were wrong about this type of thing, right? Like if you appeal to nature as your argument, right? Like if I have to explain why something is a fallacy, then like, yeah, that slows down the conversation essentially. Whereas most of the argumentation that I do that I find to be useful has more to do with like, you know, the logical consistency of my argument and the lack thereof in other people's. Also, thank you, Pure Invictus Gaming 4188 for the $10. You beautiful fucking bastard. Saying hello again. Hope you're having a great stream. Love the outfit. Hell yeah. Has anybody? I'm actually curious. Has anybody ever read, you know, the numbers in your name as like a different number in like a little bit of a dyslexic kind of way? Is that on purpose? Because like I feel like that's definitely happened before. If other people have read your name out. In which case, you know, mad respect for keeping it that way. That's really funny. Yes, I do need chapstick. I need water, too. I was wondering that. Yeah. Like, getting streamers to accidentally say that, yeah. Which I think would be hilarious. I respect that. That's funny as fuck. thoughts on the situation? You know, there's a lot of situations in the world. You gotta be a little bit more specific than that. Yeah, the situation? No, there's a lot of things that can be described that way. Do you hope to have children one day? Nope. Damn, these comments are crazy. What they do to you? Existing? I don't know, dude. I'm just chilling. Do you listen to Chief Keef, bro? Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I fuck with this stuff a little bit. What about you? I like to listen to some of like the more, I don't know if I'd say I guess yeah, some of it would be like more underground type of Chicago drill. I don't know. Like people that aren't as known, like I don't know, like Team 600. Yo, thank you, Jack VS. 9537 for the £5, you beautiful fucking bastard. Saying, great take, by the way. As a cis man that has gender dysphoria, I hate the one gender has it harder quote unquote thing. Or sorry, yeah. Which drives me insane. Everyone's struggle is unique. Yeah. No, I'm like an active proponent of like, I don't know, like advocating for men and women's rights, you know? I'm in favor of all of these things. And I make it very clear that like right-wing positions harm men ultimately, as well as women. Like they don't just hurt women, right? They also cause harm to men, right? And I think it's useful to make it clear, like, yeah, it's actually good when men are able to express their emotions. And yeah, I think that like, you know, we should take, you know, male victims of CSA just as seriously as female ones, instead of being like, heh, where was she when I was 14? You know, it's always some conservative MAGA freak on Facebook that says that, by the way. You know, the where was she when I was 14 comments. It's always right wingers. Just fun fact. But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a single leftist or even liberal say that shit. Male victims are called women. Yeah, that's misandry and misogyny. It's both. It's both misandry and misogyny. It's misogyny because it implies that there's something wrong with being a woman, that womanhood is inferior, or that being womanly as a man is bad. Right? And it's also misandry because you're saying that men are not allowed to feel emotions, that you're weak. If something happens outside of your control, that's traumatizing. Now you should just bottle it up and get over it. It's extremely unhealthy. Right? And that's something that I'm very against. Right? Because men's mental health matters just as much as women's. Like, hello? Like, how about no, we don't encourage them to bottle it up? You know? I think that what a lot of people on the left fail to understand or adequately address, that I've noticed, is a part of tearing down the patriarchy requires you also explain how the patriarchy, you know, negatively affects men, because it does. I don't think that, you know, a lot of people realize, like people think like, well, it harms women. And it's like, yeah, that's like the obvious intuitive answer for why it's wrong. But there's more than one reason why it's wrong. And you want to get as many people as possible. Because like and whenever I bring it up, it's like people will say, oh, well, you know, you know, I shouldn't have to bring it up. You know, the fact that it harms women should be enough. And they're selfish if they think otherwise. And it's like, yeah, that's great and all, but like, you know, your solution here is like fucking useless. I hate to break it to you. Yeah, how about we do the thing that's actually like rhetorically effective? And also like, I don't know, like get as many people to agree that like, yeah, patriarchy is bad as possible. By telling them how it negatively affects them specifically. Like, yeah, I think that'd be a good thing. Let's see. It's just as harmful to women as it is to men? Yeah, exactly. I view them as equivalent. Right? Keep in mind, I'm one of the most logically consistent people on the face of the earth. I refuse to be logically inconsistent. This person is so incredibly stupid. Incredible counter argument, Dan. Very, very much appreciated. Yeah, great contribution. Are you a political streamer? Not judging. Kinda. I'm a streamer who just so happens to be political. I don't hide the fact that I'm political. So a lot of people consider me to be far left. And I'll own that. Yeah, sure. I'm definitely not close to the center of the Overton window, to say the very least. But, you know, politics isn't the only thing we talk about. It's just one of my many interests. Are you from 63rd? No, I'm actually from 60th Street. I'm just kidding. I'm not from 63rd. I'm actually from 64th. I'm actually from 64th. If that's what you're referencing. Alright, Vaughn wouldn't slime you? Yeah. Yeah, if I was from 63rd, then he absolutely would. I know you read these. Sometimes. Oh, when you're saying goon with me in this? Yeah, just sort of ignore that. I've learned to tune that out. 64th? Yeah, 64th Street. Yeah, what about it? However, trans people aren't given the luxury of being apolitical. Yeah, absolutely. No, I'd say that I'm probably a lot more political than the average trans person. Right? In terms of, like, you know, like, my politics extend beyond just, like, you know, like I'm like a one-issue voter type of dealio of, like, yeah, I'm gonna vote for the party that doesn't want to take my rights away. You know? That's the intuitively obvious thing to do. Vaughn slimed so you could walk. So true. I much you unload seem. Dude, what does that even mean? That's not even a sentence. Keep this to drill politics, bro. Look, just because I listen to Chicago drill sometimes doesn't mean I know shit about street politics. Alright, I'm gonna be so fucking for real. Like, yeah, sure, I know, like, some, like, surface level shit, but that's just from, like, hearing it talked about in music, and, right? It's, like, gonna only give me, like, certain people's perspectives, right? Debate and philosophy is good law? Yeah. Dude, I like to imagine, like, an alternate reality where instead of becoming rappers or people that create drill, like, you know, people in people that come from the hood actually debate. They become streamers and YouTubers that publicly debate stream politics in the free marketplace of ideas. they actually just do the whitest thing ever. It's just like online debate bro shit. Could you imagine? Well, actually, so you see, it was actually logically justified. So if we're talking about when it came to Tuka, right? So he's going to be a part of this group, okay, right? And what this group has done is they've engaged in these specific tactics, right? So it's going to be the case that the only tactics that work against that, right, are going to be using them against them, right? So if it's the case that we were going to play dirty, right, that would give this other gang the upper hand. So in order for us to circumvent that, it was a necessary requirement for us to kill Tuka. Therefore, it was actually morally justifiable for us to do so, for the greater end goal. Could you imagine they all become debate bro streamers and they all sound like that? This is like a terrifying alternate reality. Genuinely terrifying. It would also be utility maximizing if you were to free Rondo. You see, it's going to be the case that suffering is bad, right? And being in prison is probably something that most likely causes Rondo a lot of stress and suffering. He's obviously somebody that abides by very important virtues, right? So he's also abiding by certain virtue. You'll also be cleared in the virtue ethics department. as, you know, he's just never gonna, you know, go against his own principles. You know, he's very principled in that he won't, you know, snitch on us. And, yeah, so, clearly it's gonna be the case that, like, yeah, you should be let out, right? Dude, could you, again, dude, I need to see, like, an alternate reality, like a movie that's just this alternate reality where it's like, you know, everybody from, you know, everyone from the Chicago drill scene, you know, instead of, you know, creating Chicago drill, you know, they end up becoming debate bro streamers that debate street politics. I need to see this. I need to see this. Okay? It's just, like, so absurd to me to think of that. Because it's like, yeah, it's like absolutely like the most fucking white shit ever. That's terrifying, yeah. I'm from Chicago, what? Yeah, but are you engaged in street politics? I feel like most of the people here wouldn't be, right? I feel like that's not, I don't know, maybe there are, and they just haven't said it. In which case, yes, fair enough. That's probably the funniest. You're okay, yeah, no, you're not. You'd be a wonderful guest host on the Atheist Experience. Or chewed gum. Interesting, interesting. Maybe I should be. What's the mascara you're using? I don't remember the name of it, I'm sorry. Schoolboy Q discussing the ethics of dogwarts. Yikes. Oh no. Oh no. Dude, that's an MRAW moment. Don't remember the brand? Dude, I'm sorry, I have a shit memory. I'd have to go look. I'm from Montana, but I fucked with guns and oxys, if that counts. Yeah, I don't think that counts. Nah, but like... Anyways. My new name tag is great. Oh, Carson is gay for Femi. Yes, it sure is. Also, aren't you a dude? Wouldn't that make you straight for me? Technically. I just saw a terrorist in the comment. They were joking. Gender fluid. Okay, fair enough. You're gay for me half the time, then. Ah. I thought you were a trans guy. Fair enough, fair enough. You seem like a chill person. Let's fucking go! Anyways. I forget, I never told anyone my gender. I just pretend I'm cis and continue. Yeah, that's fair, I get that, honestly. I guess that's kind of like... That's like how I engage in the Minecraft PvP community. Because, like, everyone remembers me from when I was, like, you know, presenting as a dude. So people still think of me that way. I just sort of go along with it, like, I don't really care. It doesn't really bother me. Plus, I'm not gonna fucking be like, actually, my pronouns are she, her on a fucking video game. Like, no, dude. Like, keep in mind that, like, everyone uses he, him pronouns for everybody on games. Because, like, it's just, like, the assumption is, like, that's just, like, a dude no matter what. And, like, generally it's the case that the women that play are generally just gonna go along with it because, you know, it's like, yeah, I mean, we don't want to get sexually harassed. Though I do get sexually harassed. It's actually crazy. Anyways. I'm too masculine looking to transition even if I wanted to. Femyoz, be my friend on Discord. Nelson, send me a friend request or something. Alright, Femyoz on Discord. Femyoz, same as my YouTube. The word dude has become gender neutral? Yeah, that's true. Femyoz is hot? Well, thank you. I appreciate that. When I'm on a game and I'm losing, I'm assuming it's a he, so I can enjoy being dominated. Okay. Great stuff. We love our bricky girls who never to mask. Look, the way I view it is I don't give a fuck. Like, as long as I'm, like, I mean, I do, but, like, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm above it all or whatever. Like, ideally I'd pass. But, like, I mean, I don't know, dude. There's, like, more important shit in the world that matters more than just, like, me. Like, you know, I'm really not that important in the grand scheme of things. I'd like to actually do something, you know? Wait, you have a penis, don't you? Yeah, what a great way to start a conversation. That's how I start every conversation. Is you know, to talk about their genitalia. Of course. The very reasonable, you know, very socially aware thing to do. You know, that's what people with you know, high levels of social intelligence do. Cishet boys are wilding out in chat. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, what's in your pants? Whip it out, Femi. Sorry, chat. I only talk to women with penises. Yeah. Great stuff. Are you a guy turning into a girl? Or a girl turning into a guy? I'm genuinely curious because this is the first time I've seen you in this feed, but you're beautiful regardless. Well, thank you. I am a guy turning into a girl. Sent you a message? It's Nelson. Okay, alright. I'll accept it after stream. No, sir, I don't have a pussy. I just have an inverted dick for my too much cock and ball torture. Yes, very true. You know, that's what the inverted dick is for. You know, it's you know, it ascribes to my cock and ball torture utilitarian worldview, in which cock and ball torture ought to be maximized. I mean, when were you ever really a guy? Well, never. But to be fair, yeah, for the sake of simplicity, it's like, yeah, guy to girl, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna be, like, super pedantic when somebody's, like, asking, like, in good faith, usually. Actually, no, that's not true. A lot of times I am. Depends on how fucking autistic I'm feeling. That's what the inverted cage is for. Yeah, projection much? Yeah, but this isn't a conversation. You're on the internet doing a stream. Yeah, but I feel like it's still a weird thing to say. Don't you think? Like, it's just like a strange thing to say. I don't know. This is an interaction on the street. It's not the same thing. I didn't say it's an interaction on the street. But I'd say it's, you know, it's, you know, the type of interaction where it's like, you know, if you do this in real life, you just get made fun of. I mean, you also get made fun of on the internet, but it's like, it's just to put it into perspective, you know, as to like how much of like a, yeah, you can only exclusively do this online because it's fucking weird, right? That's the point I'm making. You can't do it in real life because you're fucking weird. Can't keep equating real life with the internet. There are different standards of interaction. Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that, like, most people on the internet also think you're weird if, like, the first thing that you ask somebody is about, you know, their genitalia. It's like a weird conversation starter. Wait, do you even know how old I am? Like, guess how old I am. How old do you think I am? So you have no idea. Or I could be any age. Yeah, what if I'm 12? Yeah, I've seen people unironically say that I looked 23, 16, 19, 13, 23. Fem is 12. I'm not 12. 20s. I need to I wanna see specifically the response of the person that asks the weird question. Transbian supremacy? True. Right? Dude, AGP transbians are actually superior. 26. Season 9 for 2024. 24 something? 24 is my guess. Book, I fuck with a dude, not afraid to be yourself and takes jokes very well. Hell yeah. Dude, it's the art of just like... It's not even an art, it's just like a natural predisposition, I guess, of just like not caring. You know what I mean? Hang, what HRT are you on? Matters for age guess. Well, I'm on estrogen, that's all I'm gonna say. Or am I? I don't know. I don't know, how old do I look? Is your hair natural and grown out? Yup. 26. Estrogen did you right? Hell yeah. 21. People be so weird without hair, it's actually crazy. Like, people need to relax. Yeah, it's like, dude, I understand not caring what other people think or whatever, but like, have some self-awareness, you know what I mean? Like, be self-aware about it. Like, don't convince yourself that, like, you know. I'm gonna say 21 every time you ask. 16. Do I look 16? Estrogen give me fat titties. It's crazy how the person that was like making the comment about my genitalia just magically disappeared as soon as I brought up like, what age do you think I am? You know? That shut him up real quick. Because if it turns out, now I'm 21, but if it turned out I was a minor, that's like a, ooh, you belong on a watch list, my friend. Ooh, oh no. I mean, I know you're not 16, but you could totally pass as one. I'm gonna say 18, you look 18 low-key. But I know you're closer to 20-something. Yeah, I'm 21. A fat titty gang? Well, I don't have fat titties. Unfortunately. Maybe one day. This is 19, alright? Just come on. No, I'm 21. I want to say 28. Man, people give so many different answers. Dude, people cannot guess age at all. The fact that people generally guess anywhere from 14 to 28. I mean, what can I say? I am now imagining a trans never been kiss and it makes me cry. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna be totally honest. Little girl. Okay, I'm not a little girl. We all know you're a 297-year-old vampire. True. Thank you, Jack VS 9537 for the £5. You beautiful fucking bastard. Saying, personal gender philosophy question. Do you believe gender is something a person is or something a person is subjected to? I believe it's going to be both, right? Gender is going to be a very broad category that can be broken down into subcategories, right? So, for instance, a gender identity is something that somebody is, right? Like, it's just like what they are, right? Somebody is just going to be their gender identity, right? But that sort of set of expectations that they orbit around is going to be something that a person is subjected to, right? So things like gender expression, they've been subjected to. Gender expectations, they're subjected to, right? The gender binary itself, they're going to be subjected to an extent, right? There's going to be a lot of things about gender that people are subjected to, right? That's actually sort of the whole idea behind why, you know, like that's like or it's one of many ideas, but it's definitely an idea behind why some people end up being non-binary, right? It's just they sort of are generally more likely, not generally more likely, but like it's sort of a rejection of the notion that someone ought be subjected to the norms and expectations of either category, right? Like it's sort of like a reference point, I guess, that people are judged with. It's like a lens people are judged through. How much voice training have you done? I've voice trained on and off for like the past year-ish, maybe a little bit more than that now. Like in terms of like actually like paying attention to my voice, like a few months. I would just like stay up every night and like practice voice training, and then I'm like, all right, this is like less clocky than my appearance now, so I guess it's fine for now. Cause like whatever. Because like I don't know. I guess one of the things I did was like slowly feminize my voice like while streaming. So like every week I would do one thing to like make my voice slightly more feminine. Did remember you tweak your PC? Hell yeah. I got results, okay? Few things. 1, input delay has completely disappeared, okay? 2, I went from like, I don't know, I want to say like 400 to 600 FPS to like more like 600 to 800, roughly. Yeah, something like that. And yeah, that's on 1.16. By the way, I don't know. Oh yeah, but the main thing for me is just like the game just like feels like a lot smoother and faster. 600 FPS in what? Minecraft. Specifically Bedrock Edition. Specifically 1.16. What's the most wild neopronouns you've ever met in real life? I've never met a single person that uses neopronouns. That's why whenever people like, I don't know, like get angry about neopronouns and like virtue signal about it, it's like, dude, you have not once interacted with a single person that uses neopronouns. Like, shut the fuck up. You're grandstanding over nothing. Like, who cares, dude? Your voice is much higher and more feminine than when I started watching properly. I mean, I've ghosted for a while, but I mean, since you first saw me in chat, it's much prettier for sure. Hell yeah. You have a hot voice? Well, thank you. I worked very hard on it. Yeah, your voice unironically sounds pretty good. You did a great job, IMO. Let's go. Anyways. Stop pretending to be a girl. I don't have to pretend anything. Do you feel like you passed well? Nah. Nah, I don't. I'd say that I'm definitely like, I think that like the biggest dead giveaway is also going to be like, I don't know, the vibes, my personality, etc. Right? The reason being like, yeah, I'm like, okay, well, there's a few reasons. Let me know if you want to play later or some other time. Yeah, probably not. I don't know how tired I'll be after I'm finished streaming. I'm not going to stream for that much longer. But yeah, there's going to be a couple of reasons. One, it's going to be the case that like, characteristics associated with autism are generally seen as more masculine, right? So being direct, for instance, is seen as like a masculine trait, right? It's also going to be the case that I was male socialized. So, yeah. That's going to be like one of the, like, that's going to be like a dead giveaway a lot of the time. Right? Not to mention like that combined with like my other clocky features is going to make it obvious in my opinion. Right? You do kind of give off the vibes of one of the Fanning sisters, so you definitely pass. I hope so. Because, like, for me, it's like, I'm not gonna change, like, I'm not gonna change my personality for the sake of passing or whatever. Like, I'd rather just, like, visually pass enough where I don't have to worry about that. Look, here's the thing. Cis women, like, I don't know. Actually, no, that's not true. Everybody, like, I don't know. I'm of the belief that, like, everyone, like, when they present themselves to society is doing a little bit of performance to an extent, right? Like, consciously, subconsciously, etc. But I don't believe that, like, cis women actively think about, like, okay, maybe some of them do, but I don't think a lot of them are, like, gonna be as worried about, like, oh no, what if I say a phrase that sounds too masculine? I don't think most cis women give a fuck. I don't think that most cis women are thinking, oh no, what if I'm, like, you know, phrasing my sentence in a way that sounds like what a man would do, and then they clock me as transgender, even though I'm cis. Like, that, I'm sorry, that just doesn't happen. I think it's absurd that there would be higher standards for, I don't know, a trans woman than, like, a cis woman, right? It just seems a bit ridiculous. I don't know, dude. Well, that's also an autistic side of speaking that you wouldn't want to pretend social stuff, IMO. Yeah, look, if I'm gonna mask, then, like, yeah, sure, it's gonna be a useful skill to know how to, like, I don't know, act like you're a neurotypical woman instead of a neurotypical man. But, like, I just don't care. You know? Like, I don't know, dude. I'd rather just, like, I don't know, it's like, people bring that kind of stuff up in more brain-rotted corners of the internet. It's just like, yeah, but can I just, like, not care about any of this stuff? Like, can I just not give a fuck? You know? It's a rhetorical question, by the way. Of course I can just not give a fuck. That's what I do. I have no clue how you would smoke Valium. I hate to break it to you. If you do that to yourself, is it gender dysphoria from gender dysphoria? No. No. No, it's just like, no, I just don't feel the need to put in effort into something that doesn't fucking matter at all. Like, no, I actually, like, don't have to, you know, fake my entire personality. It's like, I'm sorry, that's just, like, something I'm fundamentally opposed to, is, like, being fake. I fucking hate fake people. So if I were to be that, you know, it'd logically follow that I'd hate myself more. Not passing is a death of 1,000 cuts. Not if you're used to it. You know, I've not passed as a woman for, like, my entire life, so, you know, it's kind of the norm. But yeah. Anyways. The lowest point, God has spoke to me and said, Skirt Go Spinny. Yeah. No, like, not passing is a death of 1,000 cuts, meaning it's not one that gives you away. Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be like a collection of different characteristics. No, I agree with that. I agree. What's the thing is that, like, I don't know, there are women that act masculine, so, like, I think that, like, the whole, like, I don't know, like, oh, you wouldn't want to get clocked for your male personality. Like, I'm sorry, like, is personality biological now? Like, okay, dude. No, that is strictly social. You know? Now, it might make it obvious if you're male socialized, but, like, I don't know, dude. A lot of lesbians are male socialized. You know, they were friends with guys. So, like, yeah. You know, there's many instances where the one gay dude is friends with a bunch of women. Right? That's why they end up acting differently, right? They're socialized differently. right? So, like, what can I say? Oh man, I'm tired. I should go to bed soon. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's like a useful thing to be aware of. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I'd like to know if I need to do it at some point. Like, okay, like, what is the optimal way to act in order to pass as a woman in terms of personality? But, you know, aside from that, it's like, I don't know, not really useful. I'd rather purely get carried by, you know, my visual / auditorial presentation. You know, just like the way my voice sounds and the way that my face looks. The way my body looks, I guess. You know, that's ideal. You're trying to go to bed, but I keep ending up here, lol. Well, I'm gonna end stream soon. We learn everyone's roles. That's how we know how to operate around them. We got taught standards for men and for women. Yeah, well, the thing is that all the standards are just like a bunch of bullshit, right? It's just like a bunch of made up shit that doesn't matter. And here's the thing, okay? Before transitioning, you want to know what happened? I was a very feminine guy, okay? I was very feminine. I didn't, you know, once I stopped giving a fuck what other people think in that regard, yeah, guess what happened? Well, I started acting more feminine, right? So very feminine for a guy, right? But when I'm judged by social expectations for women, now all of a sudden I'm extremely masculine. At the end of the day, I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't know. I'd say that, like, my personality is not necessarily gendered. I don't think that my personality is male or female. I think it just sort of exists. You know? Not my position is that, like, all the expectations around that are just fucking shit. Just like a bunch of bullshit. Like a bunch of nonsense. Standards also to change depending on where you are and the time, so that really doesn't matter. Absolutely. Even if it didn't change, it's like, well, shit, who cares? I don't have to engage with these standards. Like, they're not logical. Why would I engage with the thing that's illogical and pretend like it is? Like, what? Hello? Like, how about I just reject the standards and create ones that, you know, cater to me specifically? I don't know, dude. Seems like it's more reasonable. Rather that than be a predictable fake person, right? It's a little confusing if gender doesn't matter. Why transition? No, I'm saying that gendered expectations are irrelevant. You could ignore them. That's what I'm saying. I transition because I have dysphoria, right? Looking masculine gives me dysphoria, right? Not faking my personality doesn't give me dysphoria. So, yeah. Like, I'm gonna be so for real. I think, yeah, there's gonna be a difference between, like, you know, gender identity and gender expression, right? What I'm talking about here is gender expression, which isn't always gonna be congruent with my identity, right? So my expression is just like I don't care what society says, I'm doing whatever the fuck I want type of thing, right? That's sort of how I express myself. Always have, always will, doesn't matter the time. I'm just consistently like that. Or at least I want to be. Would you ever start clipping the stream and post on shorts for reels and promo? Yeah, I probably should do that. But I'm lazy. It's sad that you have to justify your existence to a bunch of monsters. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Like, if I was a cis woman acting the way that I do, nobody would care. Nobody would question it. Nobody would be like, boy, you're acting awfully masculine, aren't you? Like, Wow, that's some male-coded behavior. No one would say that. No one would say that if I was a cis woman acting exactly the same fucking way, right? But because I'm trans, I get held to a higher standard. Fun fact, by the way, and I'm speaking from personal experience here, people take far greater note of men acting feminine than women acting masculine. Like, if you act feminine for a guy, like, everyone just assumes, yeah, you like to take dick up the ass. You know, you're gay, you're exclusively gay, you really like dick up the ass, that's you. I don't know why people assume that, they just do. Whereas if you're, you know, masculine for a woman, nobody really gives a fuck. Unless you're trans. That's what I've noticed. There are plenty of cis women more masculine than me, I'll tell you that. None of it matters, it's all a social construct. Yeah, look, here's the thing. I'm in favor of not having any gendered expectations, but we do. We live in a society, as a wise man once said. So, because we live in a society, and because, you know, it's something that exists, we may as well optimize it, right? If we were to just, like, stop defining it, right? Like, we can't define it out of existence. You know, if we did that, we would just go back to, like, what conservatives want, which is defining sex and gender as the same thing, conflating the two, and saying, yeah, these social categories are on the basis of sex. Because the social categories don't go away. In reality, they do exist. Right? But the point of pointing them out, distinguishing them from sex itself, is not only because it's accurate in terms of describing what actually is happening, but also because it's ideal to stray away from biological essentialism. Right? Look, the real enemy to society at large, when it comes to gender stuff, is, you know, it's not just gender expectations, it's biological essentialism, right? These days, if you're a woman who's too masculine, you might be harassed in bathrooms. Yeah, but that's like in like more of a visual sense. Like if you're visually more masculine looking. I don't know, I've never been harassed. I haven't been harassed in either bathroom, to be honest. So, I guess I'm lucky. The issue is enforcing gender DBH? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Which, you know, results from biological essentialism. That's why biological essentialism is the issue. When you're born a guy and act feminine, you're a girl until you agree? What? No? If you're born a guy, then you would just be, like, I mean, unless you're saying that they'd be a trans woman, but then they'd just be born as a girl, arguably. Or it could be the case that, you know, you could make, I guess it depends on what your belief is on, like, what, or, like, what your view would be on, like, whether or not it's caused by hormone washing that occurs within the womb. That seems to be a very likely possible case scenario for why we end up being trans. So I'm of the belief that, like, yeah, you're probably just fucking born that way. It just seems to add up. Because, like, one of the first things I remember is, you know, thinking, wow, you know, if there was a magical button I could press to turn myself into a girl, I would press the ever-living fuck out of it. Right? That was, like, one of the main things I would think about. I couldn't stop thinking about it. You know, I just thought that was, like, I was either the only person that thought about it, or everyone thought about it. And either way, it was a dumb question to ask, so I just didn't say anything. I'm just a cis retarded junkie, but I'm really glad I found your streams funny. Well, it's good to have you here. As in, once you admit to being a girl, then they say you're not a woman. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you're like a feminine guy, then they have no problem, you know, using she, her pronouns to, like, as like a way of demeaning you, which is weird. So it's almost like, you know, misgendering is like a way of demeaning somebody. Who would have guessed? It's like you're invalidating their gender. It's like a bad thing. People even view that as different from misgendering a trans person for some reason. But anyways, I digress. Regardless, yeah, they have no problem doing that, or passive aggressively using they them pronouns for, you know, binary trans people. But then as soon as they're expected to use they them pronouns for a non-binary person that actually does, oh, suddenly I'm going with your so-called biological pronouns. And oh, as soon as the gay guy that I was making fun of for being too feminine and referring to them as she, her, well, now I have to use he, him, because otherwise I'd be lying about their biology. You know, these are strictly biological terms suddenly, even though they're not. That's definitely true. I was generally feminine dude when I grew up, and I did notice that too. All right, fair point. Yeah. Whenever a guy gets self-aware, it might become leftist until some tech billionaires make it a Nazi. That sounds like something that's already happening. That sounds like what's happening with Grok into Elon Musk. That's like exactly what's happened. Like verbatim. I miss you just being a femme dude. Yeah, well, shit changes. It's probably nostalgia speaking. Either that or you just are into dudes. You know? You just want to fuck dudes. It's okay, dude. You like femboys. More than you like women. It's okay. You know, we've all been there. But yeah, those days were kind of fun. But also, I could not continue masculinizing from testosterone being in my system. And now Grok is a chatbot that looks like a pop idol. Oh yeah, I saw something about that. Bro, I kept seeing pictures of like this like weird fucking AI looking character. Like some fucking like woman. I'm like, is that from like a video game? Like at first I thought it was like from a video game, and I'm like, dude, what is that? Where is that even from? Is it like a video game character? And then eventually I was like, oh, no, that's Grok. I saw somebody like talk about it more specifically. I don't think I've heard of people misgendering feminine dudes, but I could definitely see it happening, so I'll just trust you on that happening. Yeah. Hell, I don't know if that's really happened to me specifically, but I've definitely seen it happen. And to be fair, I was heavily in the closet for a while, so yeah. There's a trend on Instagram where girls are claiming to be femboys. That should piss me off. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really care about that. It's just like, whatever, dude. LARP all you want, but you'll never know what it's like. I feel like if you're a trans woman, I feel like you can kind of get away with it, though, because it's like, yeah, a lot of us did start that way. So, like, a lot of us, like, found success on the internet from labeling ourselves as such. In fact, I considered continuing to label myself as such despite being trans and knowing I'm trans and like wanting to come out as trans in real life and shit. I was so scared of coming out on YouTube, rebranding and being like, yeah, I'm like a trans streamer now. I thought they're doing it to get more clicks on their OnlyFans. Dude, I might start doing it. You know, I don't think y'all would get mad at me if I did that, right? Because I started out as a femboy YouTuber anyway, and like, you know, people mistakenly refer to me as a femboy sometimes. Whether it be from my older content or, I don't know, something else. But, yeah. I feel like, yeah, that'd be like a... Oh my god, it's almost 3:30 in the morning. I need to end stream. Goodbye, everybody. Love y'all. We got 225 Streamlabs, and then 23, and then what was it, like 29 and plus, so that would be like 20. Wait, no, that'd be like no, that was like 20. Okay, wait. No, that would be... okay, so that'd be like 55? It's like $55 donated in super chats plus the 225. So you guys have been generous. Mainly on the first stream, like in the beginning especially. But yeah. Oh, keep it up, chat. Y'all are awesome. I'm super EP. Yeah, me too. Me too. Oh. Oh. What a stream.